Hello! It's been a while. So, I just kind of wanted to make this little video where I talk about some of the things I would have done differently on this channel or in my YouTube career in general if I could go back to change some things. And this is not like a comeback video, this is not a woe is me, please come back. I'm not trying to revive this channel that I haven't posted to in like 7 years. For most people, this is probably just going to be like a, oh, I didn't know I was still subscribed to this guy. I'm gonna unsubscribe now. And that's fine. That's completely fine. But the reason I'm making this, it's for a little mixture of reasons. I got inspired by a few different people. For one, Joel Haver. I've been watching him a lot, and he has this side channel where he talks about movies, and in general, he sometimes just posts about making stuff and how people should just do it all the time and generally just be more genuine. And then I just recently today saw a video by Daniel Thrasher on his second channel where he just talked about authenticity and how there's not much of it on YouTube. There's always like this veil in front of people. So I just thought, like, this isn't going to gain me much of anything, but I thought more of like, we hear so many success stories on YouTube, people telling you like, what should you do to become a successful YouTube channel? How do you be, or like, here is my success story. Here's how I went from nothing to 1 million subscribers by working hard. And I thought, we rarely really ever hear stories from failed YouTube channels, which is, and that's not weird, it's completely natural because failed YouTube channels just kind of fizzle out, and why would they talk about why they didn't succeed? But with the gift of getting older and being able to look back at life a little more clearly, I have a lot of thoughts about how I handled all these things and what I would have done differently. So I'm just gonna talk about that for however long that takes. So to start off with, I wanted to just mention the first video that kind of gained me some traction was this thing where I parodied all the popular TF2 YouTubers at the time. And for the most part, like, I look back at it and I cringe. But every creator looks back at the stuff they created in the beginning of their channel and they cringe. Like, I make something and I hate it a week after I upload it. So that's not anything unique. But what I do regret from that is that a couple of the parodies I did were just kind of mean-spirited. Like, the one that comes specifically to mind is Thunk. I doubt he's going to hear this, but my entire parody, if you can even call it that, of Thunk was just making fun of the way he talked, of his speech impediment, or whatever you want to call it. And that was just, that's not comedy, that's not parody, that's not humor, that was just mean. And he even commented on the video in good spirit and like took it lightly. But looking back at that, that's not something I would ever do today, because it was just mean. It was mean-spirited, and I'm sorry. The second thing I regret when looking back is the way I handled my switch in content, because I'm the kind of person that I get really into one thing and then I'm really like hyper focusing on doing that thing the exact way I want to do it. But then when I changed and I was like, oh, I want to do sketch comedy now, and no one's watching it, and then I removed all the videos from this channel, rebranded the entire thing to a sketch comedy channel, and then I got really mad when people weren't watching it. But of course they weren't watching it because they subscribed to a TF2 gameplay channel, and all of a sudden all the videos they had watched that got them into the channel were gone, and the only thing left were all these new sketch comedy videos that they didn't subscribe for that. But at the time, I just wanted to, like, I wanted to move away from the gameplay stuff and I just wanted to do sketch comedy, so I was trying to force that into this channel. Eventually, I brought all the old videos back and I took away all the sketches, but I regret how I made that change, especially, which brings me to my third point, which is I regret not sticking with it longer, because I've been looking back at it after I moved and started studying. One of my classmates, who is not, I don't think she even knew what Team Fortress 2 was at all, but she mentioned that she watches RT Game. And for those who don't know, RT Game is this variety streamer and YouTube channel who's gotten really big, but he started off with TF2, and when I heard this person who just watches YouTube casually and doesn't know anything about TF2 say that one of their favorite creators is someone who started off in TF2, I just had this revelation of like, fuck, if I just stuck with the stuff I was doing and then slowly made the change over to variety content and then eventually started like introducing live action and sketch comedy, I could have probably made like a very natural, organic transition into the stuff I wanted to do. And I had 7,000 subscribers. I was on a good run. I could have kept growing the channel over time and eventually like morph it into the stuff that I wanted to do and like change it over time. Like all the good lasting YouTube channels on the platform are people who constantly change with the times. And looking back at it, I feel like I missed out on something purely because of my own faults. Like look at Jerma. He started off just playing TF2, like playing commentaries. Now he's one of the most unique streamers and content creators on the internet, and like everyone has seen his face in some fucking meme or whatever. So looking back at it, I beat myself up, my younger self up, for not thinking of that and just thinking of it like, oh, I don't want to do this gameplay stuff anymore, I want to do something else, and if people don't want to watch that, then I'm just gonna completely quit. Like my last video where I announced that this was gonna be the Rick Archives was made in spite, it was made in anger, I was just like completely done with it. So I threw like a temper tantrum and was like, okay, here you can have these fucking shitty TF2 videos back, and I'm gonna go over here trying to do this other thing. And even that I could have probably had success with if I just stuck with it. But I'm very bad at just sticking with something when I'm not getting the results I want. And that's probably just ultimately why I never managed to make YouTube into a lasting thing that I could live off of or anything. At one point I was actually earning money off of YouTube, and it's very regrettable to look back and think that if I just stuck with it without getting as much reward throughout the years, I probably could have like slowly grown a channel and an audience that could have stuck around for whatever change in content I wanted to make over time. So yeah, there's a lot to learn from a failed YouTube channel. So that's why I wanted to make this. I got kind of inspired by Star and Jerma coming back to play TF2, and the reason it inspired me was because this time around because they've done it a couple of times, right? Like every couple of years or so now they come back and they play some TF2 and they put out like a commentary video or stream it or something, and I kind of enjoy how it's just become more of a casual thing, that people aren't freaking out about like, oh my god, Star is playing the hat game again. It's just kind of like, it's nice to see. And that's kind of what got me to make this. That I've always thought for the last 5, 6, 7 years that I would never come back to this channel, because I'm done with that phase of my life and I never want to look back at it, and it just makes me angry. But seeing how they just come back to it in this very casual, light manner made me think that maybe I could just put something out there, even if it's just a one-off commentary with little to no editing and just me talking about what I would have done differently if I could. Then yeah, I'm just putting a little bit more authenticity out there. I know there are probably not a lot of people that will watch this, and even less people will care. like I said, most people will probably just take this as a reminder to unsubscribe to this dead channel, but that's fine. My thought is that if just one person can get some sort of lesson out of this, of like, if they're trying to build a YouTube channel and they want to completely 180 switch to their content, and maybe instead they try to more organically grow into it because of what I said, then it's worth it. So I don't know if this is of any worth to anyone, but I'm putting it out there. I'm just putting my authentic thoughts and regrets out into the world, because how often do you get to hear about lessons from a failed YouTuber? So yeah, bye.